There are women in the world that know how to submit. You know, you don't have to be saved to submit. Why is it that some worldly women can beat Christian women out in that particular category? And so then selfish came up. Selfishness. How does that play into that? Well, because if you're selfish, we live in a generation now where, again, like what my wife was just saying, if the woman ain't getting something out of it, then to her it's a sacrifice. I don't want to sacrifice. I need to know that I'm getting something out of the deal. So if I do something for you, then I want to know that you're doing something for me.
When he first would tell me that I was selfish, I didn't understand it. And my reasoning was, like, I don't give to people. I give all the time. I don't mind sharing. I don't mind giving things, so I did not understand, when he was talking about, me being selfish. I couldn't see it because, I reason those things in my mind, if I'm willing to give and I don't mind sharing. But what I didn't realize was that even when it came to all those things, I was still thinking of myself first, and that's one of the things that was so subtle in it. So you can have a person who just don't like to give, and that selfishness is more obvious. But what about when you are willing to give, you are willing to share, you're willing to share your time, you're willing to do things, but you're still thinking of yourself first? And an example of that is what I put, like, thinking of, how does this impact me? How does this impact my time? How does this impact my money? How does this impact my ability to treat myself? Or how much does this inconvenience me? So when you have to think about all of these things first before you decide, how much you're going to give to somebody, then there's the selfishness, in it that shows up. And that's the way it was showing up, with me, in different scenarios. So in marriage, oftentimes, I might think to I'm gonna just use getting a snack, or maybe getting something at the store, or something like that. I might think of something that I want. I would question whether or not I thought of my husband first, or even thought of him at all. That was something that I would have to look at. And so sometimes I would catch, like, man, I was just thinking about myself. I was thinking about what I wanted in this situation. And then I would have to purposely put my own personal desire on the background, and think, like, okay, well, what would my husband want? Or let me ask him what he wants. And so I had to retrain myself with my actions and with my mindset. But the first thing I had to do was challenge my mindset. I couldn't even do this thing where I think of something I want and then think of him and then say, oh, well, at least I thought of him. And I think about, the scripture that talks about us preferring others, and esteeming others better than ourselves, or more than ourselves, and thinking of others. And when you're talking about being a blessing to somebody, being selfish and thinking of yourself can obviously get in the way. And so when I saw that playing out, in our marriage, it's like, it was a hard pill to swallow. Like, man, this is what he's been telling me all this time, and what you can't mistaken, and don't be deceived into thinking that just because you can't see something about yourself, that your spouse can't see it, or that somebody else can't see it. It shows up. If you have it in you, it's going to show up in different areas. And marriages, because you're close to your spouse and you're living with them, it's easy for it to show up there, more than anywhere else.